I've listened to people falsely claim that they're here for good government. I've listened to people say that they're here on behalf of the victims. But what has this summer been about? What has this summer been about? It's been about exploitation and enabling. Exploitation and enabling. The legislation that comes before us on a weekly basis allows us to exploit the very victims that we say we're helping, and it enables us to keep this budget impasse going. You know, I did some looking up. Since 1976, the federal government has failed to pass a budget in a timely way 18 separate times. How long do you think the longest budget impasse, the longest government shutdown lasted in those 18 separate times? 21 days. 21 days, but we're going over 120 days. And why is that? Because we have done everything possible to keep this impasse at an impasse. Everything possible. As soon as even before the impasse started, we signed an education bill so everybody's kids could go to school. So that would take the pressure off. If kids weren't in school, you know what? This budget impasse would have been over on day one. Because our kids would not be in school, our constituents' kids would not be in school, and we would hear about it. But we took care of that. So if it was a pressure chamber, we let off the relief valve. Then what did we do? We paid the workers. We paid our own workers. We paid ourselves. So the impasse could continue. What are we doing lately? Well, now we have everyone's talking about this grand meeting on November 18th because 5 people can find the time to get together on November 18th. That's how important this is to people, right? You know, another day that everybody was available, November 10th, today. We're all here, and that meeting could have happened today. And if we really cared about the victims that we've been victimizing, the meeting could have happened on July 1, on July 2. It could have happened as soon as it was suggested by the Illinois Campaign for Political Reform. I'm sure if it was that important, everybody could have found some time in their schedule to come together, to meet, to stop victimizing the victims. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep the impasse going because it benefits us, right? Our bases have never been more solid. As long as there's an impasse, business loves the Republicans. As long as there's an impasse, the unions love the Democrats, so that's great for elections. Will you tell me where in the word public service it says that we need to have our bases solid for the upcoming primary? Where does it say that? It doesn't. It's embarrassing. We've all used the word shameful today, but what has been going on this summer is absolutely shameful. Shameful on the part of all of us who take part of it. And what's been the impact of all of this exploitation and enabling? We continue to victimize victims. We continue to give false hope. We pass bills that have no chance of passing for 60 days, and then we don't even try to override them. We just let them go. And today we try to explain, well, this isn't real money, this is other money. Before we released federal money, and now this is other money. That's Springfield talk. The public doesn't get it. This is money that we're releasing, and we are picking winners and losers. We are picking who it is okay to victimize and who it isn't. We had a real opportunity here. The municipalities, we all represent them. They're very upset, and you know what? If we didn't give them the relief that we're about to give them, we would probably get a budget because they would all be really mad. But we're going to let off that relief valve, and we're going to say, you know what, we don't need a budget. It'll probably get us through the holidays so we could pat ourselves on the back and say we did a good job this year. It's like we're a bunch of heroin addicts. Because what happens is when it gets too painful, when we can't deal with reality, we give ourselves some legislation like this, and it numbs us to the pain. It makes us feel good, makes us feel good about ourselves. And when the pain wears off in 60 days, we give ourselves another shot and we feel good again. It's short-term relief, people, and it hasn't accomplished anything, and it hurts the very people we claim that we're helping. Well, I'll tell you this. We need to break the cycle. And whether it's today or whether it's when we come back in December, we need to have the guts to break the cycle and talk about what really needs to be done. No one wants to talk about revenue. No one wants to talk about cuts. We just want to talk about whatever's going to make our bases happy. Well, as someone who's dedicated a greater part of his professional life to public service, I can't go along with this process anymore. I cannot go along with the process anymore, a process that exploits the victims that we're trying to help, a process that enables us to do absolutely nothing, I'll be voting no on this bill.